Was John Morrell, a guy from San Francisco, a con artist or just a guy who had big dreams? Back in 1906, Morrell was the big boss of a company called the National Airship Company. He told everyone he was gonna build a whole bunch of blimps. Morrell was ahead of his time, but he still convinced a lot of folks in San Francisco to invest in his idea. I mean, this was the city where the first blimps in America were made, so it made sense. In 1907, Morrell showed off his first blimp. He called it the California Aero. When the blimp didn't work out, Morrell didn't give up. He started working on a new one. At the same time, the National Airship Company opened an office in Portland, Oregon. They put ads in the newspaper, trying to get more people on board with their idea. The company's big plans caught the attention of the government, and the post office started looking into whether Morrell was pulling a scam. Meanwhile, an unhappy investor named S.L. Jacobs took Morrell to court in San Francisco, saying he was lying to people about his company. Morrell got arrested, but he was let out on bail until his trial. Morrell knew he needed a working blimp to prove he wasn't a fraud. He scaled down his plans and started building a smaller blimp. He wanted to show everyone it could work, and then build a huge 1,250-foot blimp. As the new blimp was getting ready to go, a guy named Colonel Fyodor Postnikov, a balloonist from Russia, said he was worried about the materials Morrell was using. He said the fabric Morrell was using wasn't strong enough for a big blimp. But Morrell said Postnikov was wrong and that he had a secret varnish that made the fabric stronger than it looked. San Francisco said Morrell couldn't launch his second blimp there, so he went to Berkeley instead. He tried to keep the official launch a secret, but people found out. On May 23, 1908, thousands of people showed up to watch the launch. The blimp was filled with 500,000 cubic feet of gas and was tied down. There were 14 guys and 2 photographers on board. Morrell had to kick some stowaways out before they took off. At noon, Morrell told his crew to loosen the ties and start the engines. As the blimp went up, it looked like the fabric wasn't even. The back was tight and smooth, but the front was sagging and wrinkled. Morrell didn't care and said it would all even out. He told them to keep going. The blimp went up to 150 feet. But as it went up, the front part got worse. The front engine was too heavy for the fabric and made the nose point down. The gas inside the blimp made it worse. Morrell tried to fix things, but it was too late. The blimp went down. The fabric ripped and the gas came out, and the blimp sped toward the ground. People screamed and ran away. The blimp crashed, and some of the crew got hurt. Rescuers had to cut the blimp to get everyone out. Morrell got hit by a propeller and broke both of his legs. The blimp was wrecked, but no one died. Most of the crew got hurt and ended up in the hospital. People took stuff from the wreck, and by the time Morrell got out of the hospital, there wasn't much left of his dream. Morrell said the crash was the fault of his investors, and that their lawsuits made him rush things and make a bad blimp. But he did build a blimp, just like he promised. He said he'd try again and build a better blimp, but he had to deal with lawsuits for a whole year. The cops in Berkeley said he couldn't fly there anymore, and even though he proved he wasn't a scam, he never built another blimp. Airplanes took over in California, and it would be a long time before big blimps flew across the country.